The movers and the shakers. Number one, never let somebody censor you.
I am a native of Dagbong.
Go back to the Holy Quran for solutions. Now the Quran of Shah.
And you know Abdul-Nasr, Imam Mahmoud Alhaji, Jibril, Imam Mustasha.
Look at your beauty beyond your physical appearance.
Why not join me, Abdul-Jalil Naabeli, the son of Musa Kumo, as my guests and I throw you to life-changing stories. Hello wonderful viewers out there. It's another Friday and it's always a delight to bring you my Northern Achiever on Sagani TV with me, Abdul-Jalil Naabeli, a son of Musa Kumo. Today it's going to be interesting, it's going to be cracking because it's going to be an interview between a son and a father, and you don't want to miss this. I'm not going to be talking about a lot of things that I may not really know about. So he's a man I may know inside out, except for those times that he was in the world that I wasn't around. And so we are going to go for a very quick commercial break. I'll be back shortly after and give you this interesting interview with my own dad. And so I was going to go and Dagbong Domini. In the name of Dagbong, I got a young number. So minimba inji to do one and interview about Katian Guchan to vote on the Futi Labna, Shala, Nizang, Mbawo, and Bambado Kunyo, Enzo, Catamino for Ayo Tabakati, the Alice Bashal, from the Chanka Sagani TV might not achieve more. Every week, my team and I work tirelessly to bring to you prominent Northerners, one at a time. They tell us their stories of how they grew up, the struggles they have been through, and how they attained greater heights in life.
I used also to paint Ankura.
What do you guys say? I showed so many things.
Further, they give pieces of advice to the youth and parents alike that, if adhered to, would change society positively.
I job here. This only
It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice.
Now,
you must trust in yourself, believe in yourself, have confidence in yourself.
You must always pray for people to succeed in their various fields. Then Allah will give you what He thinks is best for you.
Wherever we find ourselves, let's see how do we support each other.
Young people must learn to spend within their means, and to grow, always think before you spend.
So why not join me, Abdul-Jalil Naabeli, a son of Musa Kumo, with your family and friends every Friday at 8:30 p.m. on your favorite TV station, Sagani TV, on My Northern Achiever, as my guests and I thrill you to life-changing stories. Follow me on social media at Jalil Naabeli, like our Facebook page, and subscribe to our YouTube page, both at My Northern Achiever, for present and past videos, as well as more info. My Northern Achiever, time is money. Thank you so much for staying on with My Northern Achiever, with me, Abdul-Jalil Naabeli, son of Musa Kumo. And like I said before, today I have another important personality in my midst. He's someone who has toiled a lot, and for me growing up and seeing the number of children he had, what he was doing, and how he was able to raise all of us to be who we are today, is just an incredible personality. Today I have with me the Honorable MCE for Yendi Municipal Assembly, Honorable Yussif Abubakari Kooms. Honorable, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving us the opportunity to speaking to you today. And like I said in my intro, you are not somebody who is new to me. You gave birth to me, you trained me, and you gave me, in fact, everything, especially my education. And so for me, probably I'm going to learn a lot about when I wasn't in the world, who you were, but maybe when I was in the world, what you are, probably I may know. But it's important that other people outside there learn a lot from you, because I believe you have a lot of inspiration that we can get from you. But before we creep further into this interview, the first question I would like to ask my guests with nicknames is that I know you are called Kooms, and your folks will call you Kooms. How did you get this particular nickname?
Alhamdulillah, thank you for having me. I'm called Hamid Abubakari Yussif Alhaji. This Kooms comes from the word Kumkakun. That Kumkakun is a nickname I gave to myself. Okay. It's a nickname I had to use in a play entitled Our Gods Are Not Yet Dead. Okay. That play was written by myself at Yendi Senior High. So when we were preparing towards our first speech and prize giving day, I wrote that play and played that part of the personality called Kumkakun. So somewhere along the line, this Kumkakun have been captured as Kooms.
It's interesting. But let's creep further to talking about family, because family is very important. I never met my grandfather. I met my grandmother, thankfully. But how did you grow up? Who are your parents, and from which family do you come from?
Yeah, I come from Gambari family. Born to my father, Ahmed, which I shortcut as Hamid. Hamid because we were three in classroom called Ahmed, Abubakari. They were called number 1, number 2, number 3. I didn't want this numbering, so I cut it as, I removed the A or the Alif and left it as Hamid. So Hamid Abubakari. Hamid is my father. He was called Naabeli. This Naabeli originally was Zabieli. He grew out to be somebody who loved everybody. And so everybody in the area, his age groups, used to call him Mbiele, my senior brother. Even those who were older than him were calling him Abel because he used to share, he used to be generous. Because of that, everybody called him Mbiele. So instead of Mbiele, they call him Zabiele. So this Zabiele later on changed to Naabeli. Otherwise, at Dagbong, when you hear Naabeli, you are talking of Zohana.
In fact, it's our we're going to pay Yana, you know, can the Umbu Nabjala, I should pay Yana, Santi and Nabjala. So in that Yana, Nabjala, and as Abjala and Daniel, Captain Barry short boon and Nabjala. But chatted trust nothing, Gambayun Domani, and Zuna Shama, Mimben Yisna, Winda Bibia Sheldon Doma.
Tomba, you look at the bone, I'm a born Azara. Mama Babrabo Nabil Pa. To me, that be no Shalman. You'll tell Daniel, I can't go you to tell so dry chimney, Kalala Yilmani, the Buchin Dajanyala, Makaranta Dabiani, the young Lama that word la Karam. So Karmazo, so come Daniela Wabia. So Mbamina Mazara Dorman, Mazala, Amabrabasma. Mundanyo Wosman, Bama Daniel, Bapia Dayan Wosman, or San Catrabi. Ka yebe be ka zan to karam ka kanata biyati yin ma ka biyara ban kanata kan ka kun biyane ka ban kanata kan ka biyar biyane to me tuma da kun yala ka ta karam ka champu ne za ambala.
Let's come to talk about Western education, because I know you have gone to school. I've seen a couple of your certificates and you were more brilliant than I am because you have always passed more than me. But let's start from the beginning. Where you started your Western education to where you stopped, then we can discuss further about that.
This is the most interesting part of my life because I started education in 1969. I had to send myself to school. In the whole family, there wasn't anybody going to school. I decided to do that when after my elder father, the one who took care of us, when he passed on in 1968, it was his intention to let me go further to study the Islamic knowledge. Especially, he always told me that he would want me to send me to Kano or Masar. But at the tender age, he said I was too young to go. So he was praying that when I grow up, he will find means and ways of letting me go to further my education in Islamic education. But after his death, I realized there was nobody to do that. So I decided to go to school myself. And by going to school, created a lot of controversies in the family. Wow. When I decided to go to school, our elder brothers who took charge after his death resisted, saying that I was the only son of my father who was strong enough to go to farm. My other younger children could not go to farm, and therefore I was trying to escape going to farm, so they wouldn't agree. Wow. And I insisted. They were able to convince my mother and my father, because all of us were eating from the same pot. And they insisted that if I really decided to go to school, and I did, they will have to separate
their pots from, so that you will now have your own household.
And that happened. Wow. I had to go to school. So I went myself to the school. I sent myself to school, and luckily, the head teacher I went and met was a friend to my father, who was the late Jankunana SS Andani. So he had to come and talk to my father to allow me to go to school. The father said yes. He is happy, but he doesn't want disunity in the family. So he was on the side of my brothers who said, no, I shouldn't go to school. Then I said, no, I will have to go. Then this Jankunlana took me to his place under his care. I was with him at his quarters. I stayed with him for 2 good years.
Studying?
Going to school.
Which school was that?
That was Wakomo Primary School. Then from Wakomo, then I went to middle school. That's Yendi Continuation Middle School. From 1, they were not taking exams. So from 2, we were allowed to take exams. Then in Form 2, I took the exams, passed, and went to Yendi Senior High. Then Yendi Secondary School, called Yes.
Which year was that?
I started in 1974.
So I do know you read science, general science, then they called it. And sometimes I'll just go into your bedroom, take your results, and I'll be looking at the thing and I'm like, what happened? You know, why didn't this man further his education? Because the passes are just too much. Even biology that people feared, I think you had it B or so.
Yeah, I did chemistry, biology, and physics at the CFOM. But at the senior school, I read pure science. Biology with maths. So when I went to CFOM, I had to do chemistry, biology, and physics. Yes. Why I didn't go further to the university was that when I was writing our physics practicals, I was called home because I lost my dad. So at that time, before I got to the CFOM, I already married my second wife. Wow. I married my first wife while in Form 3 in secondary school. Because I said myself school, the time I went to school, I was grown up. Okay. So they used to call me Nonko Sukuru.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
So when they called me home, that I lost my dad, now these 2 people, as I told you, were separated from the general family. These 2 people, my dad and my mom, were taking care of the family. And now that my father is dead, and my mother cannot continue doing business, he had to sit in the house. Now, I realized I now have to come and take proper or full family responsibility. And luckily, before I even went to science school, I started doing photo business. That's how come I was able to marry while in school. Wow. So I realized I had to come home and take family responsibility. Okay. Even I had admission to Cape Coast University, but I couldn't go. So I came home and continued with the photo business and opened up a photo studio called Oga Photo Studio. Wow. Which was very good for me.
Yes. And I remember in our days, till I page. I was going to share, you know, where you have to fur at the chance to tell a photo do. After chat a lie. And love it. But a photo. In fact, I did to my family because I'm buying a photographer, and so chatted or photos more feel beautiful. Can I a controversial question? I'm still a controversial question. I'll be a photographer and a dog. I don't know. I'm here.
Are you a photographer, man? Kafan captain yet the Gora Pagora, check up later the Gora. Yamala the time my photograph, man. Drive your to my pump. The last way a pump. Can you well let a mazor la power mazo? Don't be near Capawas on a mountain, my come back up. Last time, continue photographer, way and yellow the notum. When you continue photographer, can you get the water? Can you continue photographer, can you get the water? When you let them tompam. Don't power man where we are Mela Comzanta. The time, then Daniel Shambra, Langmela Comzanta.
So, let's come to talk a little about this. I know you had this photo printing machine those days that when it was film strips. Were you the first to have it in Yendi?
No. Okay. I think the first photo studio in Yendi, modern photo studio, which was taken day and night, was Alhaji. That's Americana's master. Okay. But before that, there was a photographer staying at Kambala who trained Baba Yorama. Okay. He was here before, that was in the 50s, before Alhaji came from Prime to open his shop, where he trained Americana. And he got Americana because Americana was a good player at Gamaji, which he loved so much. He had no work. And so Alhaji decided to adopt him and took him as a boy. So that's how come Americana became a photographer.
Wow. And on this photography note, we are going to go for a very quick commercial break. And I do believe you are enjoying yourself. You are enjoying the conversation between father and son. And I also like to say thank you so much, Latif Boaro, that is Boaro Mobile Phones Technology, for everything that you're doing. The support is huge. Thank you. We go for a very quick commercial break. We'll be back shortly after and we'll continue with the conversation. Every week, my team and I work tirelessly to bring to you prominent Nordness, one at a time. They tell us their stories of how they grew up, the struggles they have been through, and how they attained greater heights in life.
I used also to paint Ankura.
What do you guys say? I showed so many things.
Further, they give pieces of advice to the youth and parents alike that, if adhered to, will change society positively.
I job here. This is only a ball.
It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice.
Now, you must trust in yourself, believe in yourself, have confidence in yourself.
You must always pray for people to succeed in their various fields. Then Allah will give you what He thinks is best for you.
Wherever we find ourselves, let's see how do we support each other.
Young people must learn to spend within their means and to grow. Always think before you spend.
So, why not join me, Abdul-Jalil Naabeli, a son of Musa Kumo, with your family and friends every Friday at 8:30 p.m. on your favorite TV station, Sagani TV, on My Northern Achiever, as my guests and I thrill you to life-changing stories. Follow me on social media at Jalil Naabeli, like our Facebook page, and subscribe to our YouTube page, both at My Northern Achiever, for present and past videos, as well as more info. My Northern Achiever, time is money. Thank you so much for staying with me on My Northern Achiever. My name is Abdul-Jalil Naabeli, and today I have Honorable Alhaji Yussif Abubakari Kooms with me. He's the MC for Yendi Municipal Assembly, and we are having a great conversation here. We're talking about a lot of things that he has done already. Let's talk about how you raised your family. Growing up, I do know that, like when we were going to Nurawar Islamic Primary School, for instance, you had a lot of attention for us, the children, up to a point you would always take food, in fact teasers, from home to the school to give to us, and all of us, our senior brothers and our junior brothers, all of us will sit together in school and eat together. You know, what was the rationale behind all of these things? What were you trying to achieve then?
Yes, as I told you earlier on, it was because your family that abrogated by education, that I couldn't go to university even though I had admission. So I wanted the family, the children, to go to where I couldn't reach and beyond that. Exactly, that's what we have today. Yeah. So I knew at the time you were in school, the school was feeling all right, but you lack certain things that you usually have in the house. Yeah. And that will, no matter the quality of the food they will give you, you prefer to have the usual TOZAFI that you used to have once a while. That's why I used to do that. Yeah. To just let you feel free and feel comfortable to learn.
Wow. Wow. I think this is something that I'm going to learn a lot. And let's come again to talk about, there was a time, like for instance, the time I was going to senior high school, I had me, there was Mujitaba, there was Olman, there was Mudri, there was Medaki. All of us were going to senior high school at the same time. There was Latif, there was Kawamjin, there was Shamuna and Amin, also at various levels at tertiary institutions. And you were able to train all of us, pay our school fees with just photography. Was there any other thing you were doing? And how were you able to get, sometimes I wonder how you managed to get the money to put out.
I believe you are aware at that time, even though I was doing the photography, I was also farming. Okay. So the farm produce we were not selling. Yeah. It's what we were using to feed ourselves. Okay. And with that, I was able to save money. And I knew that the money I was spending I was not spending, I was investing. Yeah. So I knew whatever I was doing in your education, it was investment. And so today you can see
it's paying off. Wow. So it just means that wherever you are, if you have your children, you have to invest in them. If it's not even in education, probably you can train them in a business or a trade, so that at least when you toil today, tomorrow you shall reap the fruit. I don't give him anything anyways, but he is happy seeing that at least I have been able to go to school and I'm doing something good for myself. But let's come to talk about politics. How did you get into politics?
I will say I started politics way back in 1979. Okay. When Alhaji Mama was our candidate for Yendi. Okay. So I was under him, I was working with him. So I was a polling agent at, what do you call it, Kumpono. Okay. Those years, Kumpono was under Yendi. Okay. So I was a polling agent at Kumpono at that time. Then, you know, after the coup, we never had a political government until 1992. Yeah. So definitely when 1992 came, I went back to Ghana. Anyway, I was born into politics because I grew up to find my father, even though not educated, but was an opinion leader in politics. Okay. I got to meet him in CPP, but later on he joined NPP. Okay. So since then, I've been with NPP. And in 1992, when they lifted the ban, even before they lifted the ban, they came up with Donko Buzia Club, which I joined. Then 1992, the politics came into, they lifted the ban on politics. Then I became a secretary to Balogo unit. Those days, we have unit executives and we have area executives. Okay. So Balogo had its units. Okay. That's the area. Okay. Then under it, we have units. So Balogo had the chairman as Alhaji Abubakari, and then the unit had the chairman as Alhaji Bawa. Alhaji Bawa Nakwana Ayile. So we're having our meetings in his house, and I was their secretary.
But I've always told you that I'm not in your MPP party. I'm not interested in politics now, but even when I want to join politics, I don't think I'll be in MPP. I don't like MPP at all.
Everybody is going to become MPP. The good works of LPP will bring everybody on board.
Oh well, the good works of LPP is debatable.
It's not going to be. It's not going to be one party state. Well, but let me tell you.
Okay.
Even the current your mama, by and large, he will become MPP. The good work is not going to. The good work is going to compel him to become MPP.
That is debatable. I'm sure people would debate you on this. But let's talk about the successes that you have chalked as a politician. You know, from or the positions you have taken. I know at a point in time you were secretary to the Yendi constituency, and so other positions. How did you rise to this?
Thanks be to Honorable Abdul-Jalil. He was a secretary from 1992, and I was working under him as a unit secretary. He saw what I could do. So when it was time for him to go to school, he recommended me to the elders to accept me as the acting constituency secretary. And they did so. So 1995 to 1997, I was acting. Then after that, he said he could no longer continue to be secretary while I'm acting. So they should consider making me substantive secretary. So we went to Congress, and I was made the substantive secretary.
Wow. So now it is clear that you just didn't get to this position as MC because people just thought, some people think that maybe you didn't do any work for the party, especially we the younger ones. We never saw what you did, and so this is revealing. And okay.
When I became the secretary, I was the person who took the party to the hinterland. The party was known to only Yendi town and towns along the main streets. The hinterland communities did not know anything about MPP. I took the party to hinterland. So every village in the Yendi constituency, I was able to crack into it. Wow. It was in 2000 when the then national organizer and the then secretary, the then national organizer, late Koshiga, and then down Honorable Tambochi. He was the secretary at that time. That was the time they introduced this polling station executive system into our politics. So myself and Honorable Charles Bentim were the people sent to Tamale as to be trained as trainers or trainees to come and introduce this polling station executive policy to the Eastern Corridor constituencies. So we came down and invited the constituencies around the Eastern Corridor. This training was done at Balogu Junior High School. So myself and Honorable Charles Bentim introduced this polling station into the Eastern Corridor, all the districts.
But when Kufuor came into power, but before then, there was this story that Kufuor once came to Yendi and he slept in your room. Is it true?
That is not true. Okay. He came to my room, but he didn't sleep. Oh, okay. We had some meeting in my room, oh, okay. But he didn't sleep. He wanted to see some prominent people, and had to invite them
to your place. Okay, so now let's move on to now talking about, fast forward, Kufuor became president in 2001, and you were made the NADMO coordinator. What kind of successes did you chalk as the NADMO coordinator when you were made one?
As NADMO coordinator, we were able to form, we jointly with Fire Service, we formed a disaster control groups in the various communities. These groups were given bulletin boosts, cutlasses, and other things, so that they'll be able to fight or to prevent bushfires. And was successful because if you look at a good example is Patia area. The Patia area to date, they are still fighting the fire bush burning. Again, at that time, there are still houses. When you go and look at them, you will see the roofs are all old, but with patches of somehow look fresh things like the aluminium ones. Those things were provided by Naabeli and my time. And we also used to form a community. We were able to mobilize the groups, the youth in the communities, to go into farming. If you go to Pagu Dagbong, they will tell you, when they see me, they say Sumia. Sumia, because this was the time we were training them how to, or we were giving them orientation as to how to manage. So, and they were able to go to Zang, you hear of us, go to Kwatia, you hear of us, and so many other places. Disikura, Kanimo, all these people, we mobilized these groups to go into youth agriculture.
We weren't happy with you because we thought you were just giving us, you just be giving us the buckets, the mattresses, and other things, but you weren't giving us. So for us, we think you come and be able so catch it. Don't be ma. To cook Alhaji a mattress, carry a pima.
Those things were not meant for the family. Ka family so couple of thousand. But some of them so kwa banana pasha. So drive no fian yaga yin san nan tila ndang. So la bata la manguna. Debe da nyarin tala pam. Debe pa yeto shel pala. La ben yara ma di kana. De pa di en kamna ka tarla so. De nyame gamu yenung be banana no se ba to so na wona banana ama banana nan azan zan tara asam ne adoraba. Kala gamatin nan ka can baka kaman shakan marabalo. So debe da gwamnati tala ngam mi denguna. So be shabon mala biam na de me ra para biam ya mala de malma musu pam ni nzang ben shaga den tu ne rezan tu gomante tuma na zan tara nirba de bia jabon no corruption na pu hal gomante yiba gbaga na won yeko na won gafar be ya banda bo hashe biam ciama so man di no tabla ka dama ay zo na fo gangbar so na zo gomante donc azo gomante kan na fo yuna ka so na so kam ka so ma so da chala ben yarama nda batata la yiran nda golle de so hal ne shi won number records nda nan kap de records mo monto bon ta ya kaza nto ben ya kaza kap de bano ino office ma mala copy ka don san yin de te ne ka da de so de la ko mun kira yuna company te to on kira yobne manan bone auditors ma yab kama tafi nda ba gorne o ta ma ta ka ta fima do bo yu na kampun shebe ka ta ve ka to ma da anto to dan cha bra bo ma biam la mbara ama mamman nuna bane so za mi na mamman ma shewa nda tira ama gwamnati na social wa mbato tirle don kamanin su
entire ni metitima. But let's go fast forward to 2016. NPP won power, and in 2017 there was MCE position for grabs. This was one position that a lot of people put themselves in readiness for, but it was more like to many of us it was like you are the ultimate. But even at that, we still didn't sleep. We were all trying to see how we can help to get you to that position. How did you get to become the MCE for Yendi?
In fact, I only send up my application, and that is all. I didn't follow any corner at all, because I knew that if it was the president who is going to choose the MCE for Yendi, and he's going to look at those who presented their applications and their CVs and choose, definitely I will be the one, because he knew what I could do. Since 1996, when I was a secretary and he was vying for the flag bearership, he knew me since then. Then, in 2007, when he became, when he was also vying for the position as the flag bearer, I was chosen as his coordinator for Yendi, Gushegu, Karaga, and Mion, which I did very well to his knowledge. So I had the belief that If he's going to look at the competence, he will not go beyond me. That is why when I put up my application, I did not go anywhere. However, I informed him. And I didn't go to Accra to inform him. I informed him when he came to Yendi. You know, as soon as he won, even before he was sworn in, he came to Yendi. So when he came to Yendi, I told him, I'm going to present my... so I didn't go any corner.
How close are you to him as we speak now? The president?
I'm representing him in Yendi.
No, so I'm asking because somebody...
I'm representing him in Yendi.
Somebody once told me that... for me, I shouldn't even be suffering to search for a job. That you just have to pick a phone and call the president and say, my son is coming to you. Find something for him for me. Is it done like that?
The president doesn't do his work like that. If you get to know, you are aware that every opposition that comes is online. Yeah. With online, how will you know this is the person? So, in this era, getting a job depends upon your capability.
Right. So now let's creep into talking about what you have done thus far as MC for Yendi Municipal Assembly. I have a problem with Yendi, not today, because if you look at other districts, like for instance, Tamale Metropolis, for instance, they concentrate a lot of their resources in the township to ensure that the town is developed to a certain level before they go to the villages. And I think that maybe it's a good thing. But if you come to Yendi, for instance, you want to evenly distribute everything. With the resources are not already enough. And so we see that even today, there are some roads that, like Ablakum, Pale, and other places, that still are not tarred. And it is a shame for us to be looking at Yendi Township roads like that. They are not being tarred. What are you doing about them before we come to talk about what you have achieved?
Don't let that be, don't regard that road as a shame. Okay. That road, as we speak, is now being packaged to be given back to the same person, Alhaji Kamil, to tar it. Okay. So it's in the process. You know, Yendi municipality is not only Yendi Township. Okay. Yendi Township has had its fair share of development. As we sit, you don't need somebody to tell you that there's ongoing construction of youth resource center at Zang. You don't need somebody to tell you that all the street lights in that town.
Yes, and Yendi is very bright. That is true.
Now you look at our old football field. It's been awarded to a contractor to make it a modern.
Which one? The one at the Yendi Senior High School. Okay.
To be done within 6 months. Wow. Anyone for now, you see him. Now look at Yendi Township. We have construction of 3 classroom blocks at Chia Ahmadiyya, another one at Jubilee, another one at Faisalia, another one at Abate, RC Block C. Okay. Then another one at Swalihia. Okay. All these are within Yendi Township. Okay. And we have other ones at other communities. So, as we sit, we have drilled 27 boreholes at various communities throughout the municipality. These are yet to be fixed with the pumps. Okay. Any moment from now, they'll start it. It is this lockdown that will lock down the one who is going to come and fix up these things. Okay. Is now at Accra.
Okay. We'll go for a very quick commercial on this break. On this note, we'll be back shortly after this commercial break. There are many great achievers who have not been recognized, but are role models to many youth in our societies.
I used to help my mother to sell bread, cola nuts, cigarettes, and other little things.
What didn't I sell? I sold so many things.
And then we have the contemporary youth who consider hard work to be punishment. This has led to many youth being jobless, and many more others going wayward. But then, who is to blame? for the youth and cultured behavior today.
My brother, the society is to be blamed. Our families are to be blamed. The pastors are to be blamed. The imams are to be blamed. The community is to be blamed.
However, we can change society together if we heed to pieces of advice and words of wisdom.
شبيني ندور به كزور بهما كزور نوسخسبا النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم دي تونتيله وهلس عملك فإن الناكد بصيرا.
If you don't go through some particular challenges, you won't be able to guide others.
If you can't help anyone with your power, don't hurt them. It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice.
We bring you excitement as well on the show.
So they want to yes and no, and only one person voted no. They said, oh, they are going to Yesusef to find out who put that no.
Join me, Abdul-Jalil Naabeli, as I discuss with great achievers who have toiled to make it in their various field of endeavor on My Northern Achiever. Follow us on social media at My Northern Achiever on all handles. Call to sponsor or advertise on the show. Thank you so much for hooking on with me on My Northern Achiever on Sagani TV. I am Abdul-Jalil Naabeli, son of Musa Kuma, and today I have with me my own father, Alhaji Ahmed Yussif Abubakari, Kooms MC for Yendi Municipal Assembly. And we are talking about a lot of things, and we are now talking about your MC position. Now, there's this water project issue, and Yendi people feel that there is water crisis in Yendi. To say water crisis, for me, it is too huge a call to make, because when we say crisis, it means that there's no water at all, but people are suffering to get water. But then there is this water project that the government keeps mentioning, and we keep hearing about it. But what is holding it, and when are we expecting to see the work?
Let me give you the genesis of it. Okay. This program, or this project, was initiated way back in 2008. 2008, it was on the drawing board. Then there was a change of government. Then it was abandoned. Then when this government came into power, the government decided to rekindle it. And then this is an international project. Therefore, it has a lot of processes to go through. It had to go through Parliament, and you know, it is a loan secured from Exim Bank, and the process is so long. However, we are very close to the take of it. Government, the president, His Excellency the President, speaks of it anytime he gets the chance to meet the people of Yendi. Several times he spoke of it, and he's serious about it. Glad to inform you that just 4 days ago, the contractor has visited Yendi. So he visited the site where he was introduced to the site, and any minute from now, we'll see him at work.
That's fine, because we will thank Mr. President, but he should just walk the talk. It's not about talking about it. For us, we want the water project to start. But then, let me now we'll come to talk a little more about certain other issues. But let's talk a little about your life principles. What has been your life principles growing up to this point?
Well, what I hate is lies. And I always want to ensure that when I'm aiming at something, I must work towards it, and I must achieve results. I don't want to go into something and leave it on the way because I'm defeated. I don't like defeat, especially when I intend going to embark on a developmental project. What I hate is defeat. So my policy is think of it, work at it, and achieve results.
Wow. And that is how you have always lived your life. Wow. So, chatapa kanata buanya. Dagbong kuya mo mebuni da apsilege. tinye anda nan pam ma shall the pune usually work and yare then da fun nan because Dagbong has moved forward to chang tone the tune to langwan piare then da gare 2002 kar non wula but fast forward we are ma mai bosa tinye fitina shall then da bena the mele do kun mele the non do kun nan wula ka da to nan as MCE nto zan akwalanzu ya gbene gwamnati tumtun da nan ngoma ka to kun nan la halatin da do draba bace ya to agwala ma karchan halatin da
yelti da ma ko ya ba mal ya to tule ngwan pula ya yi ma zaha nanam na pamba ne social banda pai ka satba be ka satiti ka ku ma malama ya male ti yan yelti dan la pugo nzantire tangban zola present nana adan ko fado so piene pam ko ranan ka pe to ma puni domin lalaya to ma banda gbashin ma brapin gba mu doya asanda hin committee ma puni na presa ku fonda po batuma brakan ta gba ban gbashil doye mu kable ko ben san tuntuma domin former president mama wala kan ta busu no zan tuntuma won zan na ta pana yawo har ka zan contractor no ka ta pili da yema da maka malwa ka pressure luoso ka yo no nan la ko photo ka nanado tam kamsa wara kan nan kampe ko no pa bro me pa ndane ama wodi na ma we ti zo shi ko so wa mal Dagbong te don na bi nyo labata wonta shi din na ma zo shi ko ma so ma ni mane ko tuwe la ban ma kam so dabiam kami kay ne wannan le di bo tun da photo ama wa mal don gban yana bi so ka zan sona ka boate dan nan ka ta yalda nan mane regina me sa ta so na karshiya ka ta yalda nan to so tin kerfu ne mo so ra kana pam to so ya to ama me bin yi pa ba da wa farsa to so ya yi ma za bi yiro kam da borka diyan nan di pa go sa no mal kuma ko malme da ma sa ban da kulma da lasham bin shayin gabtun rufu ne katme mi de ti ya men la den zan sole donc ti bo da ban shayin gabon donc de jin nan kaya nan ma yi ku la kan do ne mala to zin tan nan la goma ti ya ne kadama bon bo bin yamba shakam nan tun banya da ko to nan to so mo so no abi shal bala to so ban me da segment besma mi segment besma bin shi ta kalma to zai yalla kamza da shi la ma ngoso da so dra kana sa shale ka ya yi ma zaha ka bin yi tun yun makar malla funfun man kwaran ya badam nda ya kwaran ya yi ba za dam ka bin shawo kan so din yan nan karma shal ba misali kira bazan tun na ba yi so dirana zal sole tule ira gum ka shabiya ninna ya kala ya shal dum ya ni pan zan safi na kulma kumale katbe mi zan safi ati kulma kumale so kata mo safi na ba zanti zo rigila raisa da banda shilala mi be kyon ba da shilala so ban kulan pil kulma ba ban zan la safi na ma na zana yawo ni zanti music ni zanti ka be kyanta malaku yama kan yalba to kutu wasa zanti ya je gare zanti ga zanti kake gune don ya yi ba zamala babba dugo kamal gulana kamal malle kamal be sa ya katbiyo to ti san zanti ya je gare zanti sai ti zanti mbo kamal ka yeme ti zanti soko me gutoyi no mbala ba pe kulma ne sanni man dozo zaldinda paraso binda pardo zaldinda paraso ka kyanta yule ka zalshe din paraso nyala ni di pantin ya na bar zan safa na mati so me to ngwa zalwa ga tiyan dola zuwatin ya na da ba ta kan zan safa mati tin dan ya na lala yema di da pa din na muso zan tin dan zal sol zuwatin ya shi dan shirmo ta gar yune amma yema za na fito san da zaci wace da na ka da guyinga to ti da zan tin da tamba gura di bala dan pa da ba muso shi da na lampana draga da pa kapte sa eto shana tunu ya kaza don wan biyan bol da yuro kan yule bi yente no shema tin ko ma ku kyan tunu kan yalba ya margushe eto shana yente no nguna di pane stable man bang written documents unku diga zan da yelwa kada gina mi sai ba nun wani yelma no tun fo san kala ma kana ni tin nun mo bin yela shi tan shama ma rigina minisa da lai to sha yelna wa di patin yelma ka ba sabla bang ne titin tin nun le te ko nun le wa me ne nun shi wo di da favela ya ngana ma de favela ya ngana ma ka be ta ni de favela ya ma de lallab ya ngana nta affect ka menya dina sawo da modin da yake nan da ma da yanzu nan ma ne ka iya dinwa dipa ne sabla bang titina ka da bang ke titi instruction tan nan ban ngo titin nan ka da sai dole nyanga timmi din yi shelna ka be biya da yon kurgani ka titi ta bang mana iya tan nan ban yar shamma ka yalba to yon kurgani wato ko to nan she biya ne asbasa kurgani kare ne ka tan nan le yon ma ban tilala izini ma tan nan la ban ma ka ya yin gashiyar ban ti so na ban ma ka karanta nan malai ka ta yaba fa hanyar so ka biya ne yun zuba ka fa so zancan asba sai kurganu kan labatin ti atata hidima ma wayan shama da barkela ko lan lab sabban lab withdraw ibn da ti ban shi yun mun ba ka ta ban nan ayo ti da nya ngun shi ngomban mi ya to ba da dinya dinya to kada ya zan tuntuma ko mara na ku can shi da na san dimane to so da ku ma nguna ya male ban zahara nya sami ban so pada bana be so jita kale man nya da bana man nya mi da kale man la nya bi chamane da so in da pa na so ngun chara pam kanon da kuma sawara kayan dole instashi shabin zan tetina ta nan zan sore da so on pugo pam ken jaga yima zasan donc brat bizan da tuma yadda ka sade ka ba don tunda yawa na mal ba kai ta nan ku to zan ya mal don tun ku to mal para ban yan balle to zo furo ba
okay to kafin po tun ko yanzu insha to kana ko va ganya maka mane asasu gunya ladin na zan ci tun na yan mu in particular be Dagbong za nan gban yin zan pa lalayi to ashalin da nan goma ne tin yan nan sham tapson ka Dagbong chantu
ne ko yan so ka za ha shab jala so ko za bang na kadaba ayi tu kalu abang la ko shiran tu ma kabla halaba ta ture so tu som na wone ni mi ne sham na go tabta tu som na so kan ba mo ke tabla ka bang na tin ya za yinga ka bang ne to ashal dan ka na kana ma katinum san ka da pila katin sa ta partner to tu som na won so ben sha an ba de table de zan son social media ne ben sha an ba de table yaman yele mirka zan yele ka ti yina pro ne ka le fitina zan titi to tu som na won ka da zahad yutaba na won so ka ban da zanya zan yi se
kara da zo na yamo for instance coronavirus case har one ba record
na won yi corona tin na binye za ga na me biyan chatin yele tun screen shaba tun zan ba binya 11064 Yendi tun screen shaba tun ko zan bi man paman zan temperature ka shab gede ayan zaman kar yala anan tuwa war ba yi ko fu ka lan labasa because ban ma so bin wasu yan ngomin tun screen shaba ka fi ba ka tinya o kala lafi malaria nyele bi ya kama ni ba takatin yala ka doctor nan bon to ka tinya malaria kun yele ka taba malaria ma ka ba kana normal ka biene amma taba durma Allah maso sane tafi go funa amma 11,064 people ka tafi.
But now let's come to talk about your advice to the youth in general, you know, taking into consideration your own life. What advice would you give to every youth watching right about now so that they can take it up and become people in the future?
But advice to the youth is that concentrate on your studies and be patient. Please, whenever you get the opportunity for any job, apply. And when you apply, follow up. Please, and respect those ahead of you. Respect your elders, respect your leaders, and take advice from them. And also seek guidance. Don't just sit in your house and think of something or imagine of something and take it to be a truth and take it to something you can follow. This is the way you can grow up. You are growing up. Perhaps whatever be the case, you should be having your mentor. You should be having somebody you are looking at that you want to be like him in future. Whether he is related to you or not, you can seek advice from him. He will even be happy to adopt you, or she will be happy to adopt you. If you seek advice from him 1 or 2 times, he will be happy, or she will be happy. And this is the way you can grow up. You cannot grow up to be a responsible person by your own thinking and by your own self.
But then you are talking about mentors. You know, who has been your mentors growing up?
Well, first and foremost is Honorable Alhaji Malik Yakubu Alasan, our former MP for Yendi and former Interior Minister. Then Alhaji Amin Amadu, now currently member of Council of State. Then I will add His Excellency former President Kufuor, and of course the current president.
Wow. So I can't leave without asking you this question. You know, there is the parliamentary candidature for NPP apps for grabs. I was thinking that you are one of the most eligible persons who could, you know, bring himself up for the position, but you never shown any interest whatsoever. Is it that you are not just interested, or you feel that, oh well, I'm the MC, so I'm okay with where I am?
2 reasons. Okay. One is that His Excellency the President had declared any government appointee who wanted to contest the parliamentary candidatureship of a sitting MP should first of all resign. Then secondly, I believe that to be an MP is not for you to offer yourself. It's for you to wait for the call of the people. If the people call you to come out, the caliber of people who will call you, you study it, you look at the history of politics of your party in your area, then you look at the caliber of people who are inviting you to come out and present yourself. Then you come out. You don't just think, I can be an MP, therefore I will present myself. No. If you do that, a lot of challenges await you ahead.
They say you fear pressure. I don't know whether it's true or not. The youth of Yendi say that you fear a lot of pressure. When they put pressure on you, you become confused. Is it true?
I don't think it is true, because no pressure has ever asked me to act in a way. I don't act upon pressure. I act upon my conscience. When my conscience is clear, there's no way you can force me to do something that is not right. If there's any single situation that I've ever succumbed to pressure, then you can find out.
All right, Alhaji, thank you very much for being on the show. Okay. But this one is I think we slept in the same house. So if I had coronavirus, but I would have infested.
The advice is this.
Okay. All right. So thank you so much for being on the show, Alhaji, and we thank you, viewers, for making up time again with me on my Northern Achiever today. It's been interesting having such a wonderful personality with me. Time is always of the essence. There are a lot of things that we had wanted to talk about, but we cannot talk about them all because of time constraints. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching, and you can also advertise or sponsor my Northern Achiever. We still need a lot of sponsors to keep us moving, so call any of our lines and we will be glad to do business with you. And if you need any video, is it music video, is it outdooring, is it wedding, an occasion, whatever it is that you want, just call Sabali Studios. Call my producers, we'll link you up with Sabali Studios, and you will get the best of videos that you can ever imagine. My thanks also goes to Borrow Mobile Phones Technology, my main man El Boga. Thank you so much, and thanks everybody for watching. Until I come again your way next week, it's been me, Abdul-Jalil Naabeli, son of Musa Kooms.